Hey guys, everything new under the sun here. I've got an unboxing, and this is of FPV equipment. Now, I searched long and hard on eBay and GearBest and Line Tacky and Banggood, and this is by far, well, not by far, this is the cheapest set of FPV equipment that I could find. You can buy all the individual pieces for fairly cheap, but you put them all together, including a screen and the camera and the transmission equipment and all that kind of stuff, transmitter receiver, and I think you're at $100 anyways. This thing was about $70 Canadian, but you can get it like $51 I think on GearBest or something like that. This is the Syma 5.8 gig FPV kit, and it's meant for Syma, but you can use it for anything. So let's get to it. I have my K-Dang K70C behind me, which I'll use for demonstration purposes, and of course I'm on my pool table with lots of pool balls. But let's open this up and have a look. So on the front, it's got the screen there. The bottom's nothing fancy. It's checked off for 720p. Just says real-time transmission there. Now on the back, it says it's got eight channel choices, 4.3-inch screen. You can see what comes with the screen. The camera, this is very small. It comes with a nice planar antenna, flat antenna for directional usage, and then you can see the micro switch up in the corner there for changing the channels. It's very cool, and the camera itself has a battery in it, which is nice. So here's what you get when you open it up. And I will note a whole bunch of stuff falls out under the bottom, on the bottom there. So here's what you get. Just put the camera right there. So let's take it. Here's the antenna, nice directional antenna, and simple Wi-Fi antenna. Obviously 5.8 gig. This is a 5.8 gig system. And then you get the screen, and it looks big until you open it. It didn't really impress me with the size of it. Let's see if I can open it there. But the sides flip open, kind of pop open. That's kind of nice. And so you got a bit of a sunshade there. That's real nice. And then you collapse and close. So that's cool. So then you put the antenna on here, obviously. And I will start this up. I did have it out of the box, of course, to get the battery charged up. Now it does come in the bottom, underneath the case. It comes with a little thing, a clamp that goes on your controller, the antenna of your controller. I have my cheap K-Dang K70C has a cheap controller. It doesn't have an antenna on it. Actually, the antenna is actually inside, so I can't use this piece. But it does come with thumb screws to go ahead and use that if you want. I suppose I could attach it some other way. So I'll open this, and let's see, open. There we go. I'll leave that there. And of course, the main piece of the FPV equipment is the camera. Now, this is a tiny, tiny camera, and it comes with a couple of clips. Actually, I left the clips upstairs. It comes with two different versions of clips. So you see the little tongues, L-shaped things on the back here. These are for clipping on the bottom of the Syma. But there's a couple of quadcopters, Syma quadcopters, and they use different clips. This has got a couple of different backing plates. So all I did actually was on the quadcopter, I took one of the backing plates, if you can see it here, and I just stuck it on with the electrical tape actually. So now I can actually sit this guy on here, and he sits quite nicely like that underneath the quadcopter. So it works really well. Obviously my quadcopter landing gear are broken off there. Now this is the wire that goes to the Syma that is supposed to turn on and off the recording, because it does have a micro SD slot right here for recording. But you can simply got some super glue on my finger. You can simply cut this wire and connect these two wires, and I think if you connect them for 2 seconds, that will turn on the video, and if you connect them again, engage them for 2 seconds, excuse me, it will turn off the video recording. So what people have done is they've rewired this, they've cut the end off, and they've put a little button on the side, so you hold it down for 2 seconds, it turns on the recording, and so on. I've got another camera, which you'll see in another video that is going to do the recording there. Alright, so another nice thing is this has, so there's the lens on the front. It's a tiny lens, but it does swivel, so it's got these knobs on the side, so you can actually swivel it up and down depending on your view angle that you want to have. So that's really great for FPV flying. You may have this on an angle. You know, if you're going really fast, you want it on an angle for a quadcopter, whereas maybe for a plane, you want it straight. I'm going to use it for both. On the back, you got the micro switch for the 8 settings, and then of course the little, forget what this antenna is called, just your standard antenna. You could probably upgrade this to a clover leaf just by cutting this wire carefully and doing some fine soldering. It's not impossible. Over on this side, you've got an on-off switch, and it will work without the Syma, without doing anything with this wire, to send video to the screen. Over here is the charging port, which is, it's hard to determine which way the plug is supposed to go in there, so just be careful with that. But it does come with a USB charger, which has 2 leads on it. One lead for the screen and one for the camera. So that is handy, it works, and when there's a red LED in here, when it's done charging, this red LED turns on, which is kind of opposite. You'd think it would turn off, but it actually turns on when it's done charging both of them. So this is really tiny. I was surprised how small this was, and it's quite light, so it should be easily handleable, and the video quality is half decent. So I have charged this, so I will go ahead and I didn't do a walk around on this one. The on-off switch here. It's got the micro switches on the back here, and the battery up here. It's a really tiny 200. I think it's a 200 milliamp hour battery. So we'll flip the switch on, and you'll see it light up. So it's got the blue-gray screen of death. And then if I simply turn on the switch here, it syncs up. And of course I have my dip switches correct, and you'll see it turn on. So if I go like this, now you can see. Let's see. Let me get the image right side up. There you go. So you can see the quadcopter, and the image is half decent. I don't know how that's showing on the video exactly, but there. If I move it around quick, that's what it does. It probably is 30 frames per second video. It's supposed to be 720p. So let me look at a pool ball there. So it works really well, and the focus distance I think is about 10 centimeters or something like that. It's not bad. So all in all, it works really well. So if I go fast like this, you can see, if I were to pretend to be it being on a quadcopter or something, that's how it works. So it's pretty good. And so there you go. And there's you looking back at the my Garmin Virb. So it works really well. It's fairly responsive, and the batteries last probably a good I would say 20 to 25 minutes probably. I think I had it going, and I didn't run the battery out either. Now you'll notice card error there. That's because I have no micro SD card in the side of it. If I were to do that, of course I'd have to put these cables together to actually initiate the charging. Now this does get fairly hot. It's actually warm right now going, and it is a 200 milliwatt transmitter apparently. So you probably don't want to stick this in your mouth overnight with it turned on. It'd probably give you cancer or something. But it's a relatively powerful transmitter. So that said, what I'll do is I'll show you it clipping on the bottom here. So I just have the little clips here. If I can get it clipped, there you go. So that's what it looks like. And then there you are. So there's the camera on the front of the quadcopter, and it will work quite nicely. Now I do have some video of it being on the quadcopter. However, I found that one of my motor paws was dead, so I didn't get very far off the ground, unfortunately. So I'm not going to have a ton of neat photography, neat videography, but I will put up some of it so you can see kind of what it looks like. I only got like a foot off the ground because this guy was not turning, so I had to order a new motor for that. Such is life, and that is why the bottom of the engine pod is torn off. So that is the review. Well, it's not really a review, it's just an unboxing of the 5.8 gigahertz FPV real-time transmission kit, which is supposedly for the Syma, but I'm here to confirm that it works on anything. And it's just a little bit of trickery-hackery to get the actual onboard recording working. But as I suggested, I do have another camera I'm going to do for that, the SQ8. And so watch my videos. I have an SQ8 unboxing video coming up as well that I'll do a review on, and that's going to be the one that's going to record the 720 video, and I won't rely on this. Although I would like to try it just to see how the video how the video fares. So I'll leave it at that. It's a fairly good kit. It comes with all the batteries ready to go. You plug it in, charge it up, and you're away. And notice at the top here, it also has the receive battery power and the transmit battery power. So you can see how your batteries are doing. So make sure you can land before your FPV, your eyes on the quadcopter disappear. Otherwise you'd have to rush to line of sight flying. Other than that, it's fairly well. The video quality on the bottom, there's a couple lines here in the numbers. Not the end of the world, but I do like the collapsibility of it. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I will probably make a hood for this so that I can put it around my eyes or something, have a more immersive experience. That's probably the only thing that I would go for. Maybe a headset or something. It would be really cool. But yeah, it's a really easy setup, and I would definitely recommend this as kind of a off-the-shelf way to get up and running with FPV, and I think cheaper than even putting all the components together. Although, and if it really is a 200 milliwatt system, then that is a decently powerful FPV system. The box does say it is good up to, I think it's 600 meters or something. Maximum 600 meters of effective image range. So I don't know how that's going to work, but it does say 200 milliwatt. So there it is, guys. That is my unboxing of the Syma 5.8 FPV kit, and I would recommend it. I got this one from, I believe it was Banggood. So I'll put that in the description if I have it. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned for a video on the SQ8 that's coming up next.